Steve Lesniak, a 27-year-old freshman baseball coach at Elk Grove High School, was pitching batting practice to his team one day when he was hit in the head by a line drive.
School day ended and we were at practice at 3:45, and one of my players during batting practice hit a line drive. The line drive hit me in the side of the head. I lost consciousness briefly. My freshman team was great. They ran and grabbed the radio and radioed the training staff. Trainer came out to the field immediately, gave me an evaluation, determined that I did have a concussion, and he suggested, if I felt more nausea as the night went on, to go get it checked out at the hospital.
But after having a CAT scan and an MRI, Steve learned he was facing much more than he had bargained for.
Concussion didn't have any bleeding in the brain, but it did reveal a mass near my pituitary gland. So the next day I immediately followed up with my primary care physician out of Alexian Brothers, Mark Weisberg, and he scheduled an MRI for me that night. I was able to get in to Alexian for an MRI, which was really a huge bonus for me because I didn't want to miss a lot of work as a teacher, so I was able to get the MRI done that same night, and then the results were obviously following the next day. So Thursday I got the results that the mass was not a tumor that they expected it would be, but it was actually an aneurysm. So from there, things just kind of happened quickly. I wanted to put this behind me.
Steve had what we call a giant, partially thrombosed, transitional carotid cavernous aneurysm. What does that mean? Well, let's break it down. A carotid cavernous aneurysm is a sac that is bulged off of the internal carotid artery as it comes up through the floor of the skull. If these aneurysms are smaller and not causing any symptoms, they might not require any treatment at all. But as these aneurysms grow, they can extend upwards into the space that surrounds the brain. Steve's had done that, and that's why the outside radiologist reading the first CT scan actually thought he was looking at a large pituitary tumor. We said that his aneurysm was giant. That means that it's reached a size of about 1 inch in diameter. We also said that his aneurysm was partially thrombosed. That means that it had formed some blood clot that was filling part but not all of the aneurysm sac.
Steve's aneurysm might have caused him problems in the future had it not been discovered and treated.
A transitional aneurysm, like Steve's, can cause problems first by bleeding into the space surrounding the brain and causing a stroke. But these aneurysms can also cause problems even without bleeding. If they grow to a point that they're pressing on nerves that control vision or the movement of the eyes, that can interfere obviously with vision. Steve's aneurysm had never bled. It was found by accident. But it was interesting to have Steve tell us that he had been told by an eye doctor that his eyes didn't appear to be moving as a coordinated team.
I did feel, very good about the staff at Alexian, and Dr. Malish and Ginger, you could tell that they have a sincere, genuine concern for my well-being.
There are a lot of options for managing patients with brain aneurysms, including aneurysms like Steve's. My job is to do what's safest for the patient, and that means to carefully consider all of the options, not simply those that are performed by my team, by an endovascular approach. So we talked to our aneurysm neurosurgeon, Dr. Rosenblatt. We discussed the open surgical options. We discussed simply observing the aneurysm and leaving it alone. We even discussed completely, intentionally blocking off the carotid artery. We finally decided the best option for Steve was an endovascular approach.
A recently released catheter was used during Steve's procedure.
So while these stents are usually easily deployed precisely where you need them, we know from 10 years experience that it's less precise when there is curviness of the vessel or when there's narrowing of the vessel, and Steve had both of those challenges. So I discussed this case with the company, Boston Scientific Stryker, that makes the stent, and they made available to us a newer catheter designed specifically for this purpose. I understand it's the first time the catheter was used in the United States to deploy their stent, and the procedure went perfectly.
The surgery lasted about 2.5 hours. Everything went really well from what they've told me, and I feel great today. And I'm kind of amazed that after having the surgery, you know, 2 days later I was back home.
He returned to teaching at the local high school and coaching.
So after being here for about 5 or 10 minutes, I noticed Ginger Riley and Dr. Malish, you know, also showed up, and it was just a really special moment for me, because I didn't expect them to do that at all. In a million years, I would never have expected them to come, you know, watch my freshman A baseball team play a game, but you know, they did, and that just shows the true, you know, character and genuine concern they have for their patients and the relationships they build with them.
I know it meant a lot to Steve, but it meant more to us, because in Dr. Malish's own words, to treat somebody and see them go back into what they were doing before you ever knew them, to go back into what they do for the rest of their life, is just so rewarding for us to have had the opportunity to see that. It was a blessing for us.
I think our team really focuses on getting to know that patient and how their aneurysm is impacting their life, and what we need to do to get them back to the life that they want.